Welcome to Collecting Chaos. It's the Monday morning show. Don't have a whole lot, but I have some things to talk about. I do have a couple of comics that I've recently acquired. And I'll show you those. And I went through, because I really don't have any favorite reads for this week or any favorite covers that were new to me this week. I went through and I picked out ones that I was putting in Mylar for my favorite covers. And we'll select my favorite cover of the week based on those. So if that's the kind of thing you want to watch, you probably shouldn't go anywhere. Well, maybe go get some coffee and come back during the intro. New acquisitions. I only have 5. That's all I got. But they're not bad. How about Invisible Woman #1? Adam Hughes autograph. Mark Waid autograph. Yeah. I'm happy with that. Oh, here's another one. Mark Waid autograph. This is #2, by the way. Adam Hughes autograph. There's #3. Same thing. Waid and Hughes autographed. Yeah. I like that. Here's #4. No autographs. You can't have everything. And #5. The big question is, am I going to read them? Yeah, probably. Just not today. I haven't read a whole lot this week because I've been trying to keep warm over the last 7 days. So we'll move on to the next thing. I want to talk to you a little bit about the ages of comics. And I've been thinking about this for a while. And I made a chart. Yay, charts! We'll zoom into it so you can actually see it. Maybe. I like charts. Charts are good. They sometimes help people. Feel free to take a screenshot of this and use it if you want. And basically this has the beginning and end of the commonly accepted ages of comics, and then the ages as addressed by the comic book historian. I do recommend his channel and his site. He has a lot of good information. I don't agree with all of it, but then I don't agree with everybody on everything. And we'll get to that in a little while too. First off, we start with the Victorian age. This is from 1842 to 1897. Actually, there was an age even before that, but we won't talk about it because it involves going to Europe and digging out stuff. You could arguably say that sequential art started with the Egyptians and maybe even earlier than that. But we'll just, in general, say comic books in general started in 1842 to 1897. The comic book historian doesn't really address the Victorian age. By name, he does mention that there were comics prior to 1897, or anthologies prior to 1897. But he picks 1897 as the starting age for the platinum, or the starting date for the platinum age, which pretty much goes with what everybody else says. It was the first publication of The Yellow Kid, and it was stated that it was a comic book on the back. So that was the first comic book in the platinum age, and that goes to 1938, although he has it going to 1937. Action Comics, remember, didn't come out till April of 1938, which is why I have the beginning date as 1938 for the Golden Age. and the end date is 1938 for the Platinum Age. He ends it in 1937, starts it in 1938. If you go strictly by that and you don't actually watch his video about this, then you're going to think he means January. But no, that's not it at all. He does specifically mention Action Comics #1 as the start of the Golden Age. Now, that was not the first comic that ever had new stories in it. New Fun Comics, which later became Adventure Comics, was first published in 1935, and that was all new stories. Then from there, we go to the Atomic Age, which generally is considered not an age by most big collectors. The Golden Age collectors say, no, that's not an age, because they want the Golden Age to go right up to the first appearance of Barry Allen in Showcase #4. But he does list it as 1948 to 1955. And we have the Silver Age starting from 1954 to 1969. Now, it actually starts in 1955, but I say 1954 for my own reasons. And from there, we start the Silver Age with Showcase #4. And that's always been that way. And that goes up to 1969. Now, an interesting thing about the ages of comics, if you take a look at the way they have it here, 1938 to 1954, that's 16 years. The Silver Age goes 1954 to 1969. That's 15 years. The Bronze Age goes 1970 to 1984. That's 14 years. And the Copper Age, 1984 to 1992, which I just arbitrarily chose that. A lot of people think the Copper Age ended long before that, but I'll go to 1992. That's 12 years. So the ages are getting shorter until you get to the Modern Age. Now here he has Silver Age going to 1969, which I can appreciate that. 1970, he says that the comic book historian says, as far as he's concerned, Conan #1 kicked off the Silver Age. I absolutely have no problem with that. I really agree with it, and I think I've said that before. So Bronze Age, Conan #1, that's the most appropriate comic for that, I think. He has Copper Age is 1985 to 1991, which is only 6 years. This is only 6 years too, which doesn't make sense to me. Here you got 15 or 16, 15, 14. Shouldn't this be longer than 1984 to 1992? Shouldn't it go to like 1996 or something like that, or 1999, maybe 2000? That's my thought anyway. 1985 to 1991 is what he has the Copper Age. Then he has something he calls the Extreme Age from 1992 to 1998, which he has starting with X-Force #1, which sold ungodly amounts of comics. I think I would actually move that back to Spider-Man 1 from Todd McFarlane, because that was the first one that sold. The first of the modern comics that sold over 1 million copies. And then he lists something he calls the Movie Age, which starts 1998 with the release of Blade, the movie Blade, and goes to present. Of course, generally it's not the Extreme Age and Movie Age aren't accepted. We go straight from 1992 to present as a Modern Age. Now let's look at this a little bit differently. If we take if we leave the Platinum Age alone, because we're not going to mess with that, but if we take this and go to 1938 to say 1953, yeah, that's pre-Flash, but it's not pre Lois Lane, which kind of should be, in my thoughts, the first Silver Age comic. But that's, my personal thought. But that's 15 years. And then we add 15 to that, we go to 1968, which is about the time that Marvel started publishing a lot of comics. That's when they split off a lot of comics and they got a better deal for distribution, which is, I think, an appropriate end to the Silver Age, which would start the Copper Age of 1968 and go 15 years from that would be 1983? No, 1983. So we would have the Bronze Age going from 1968 to 1983. You see what I'm doing there? And then the Copper Age would go from 1983 to 1998. And then, yeah, absolutely. Let's go with the movie age. I like the movie. I like the idea of a movie age of comics. And that would take us right up to present, actually not quite present day. Take us to 2013. And then from 2014 to present would be modern. Yeah, that's, to me, makes more sense. It'd go in 15, each age would be in 15 year increments. Of course, nobody's going to ever accept that, but that's just the way I'm thinking. So anyway, there you go. That's a little rundown of the ages of comics as seen by the comic book historian. And there's nothing wrong with his breakdowns. They're actually pretty good. I like them. And then the generally accepted ages of comics. Now, I'm sure that not all of you tune in just to hear me yak and hear me talk. You want to see some stuff. You want to see some of the things out of my collection. After all, isn't that what this channel is supposed to be all about, is my collection? So I grabbed a few things and I'll show them to you now. First off is a Marvel graphic novel, Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment. And this one has seen better days. It has some damage to it. I probably won't ever try to clean it up. But yeah, if you haven't picked this up, try to find a copy. It's really awesome. And it does have Mephisto in it, which is always cool. You know, and I mean, Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, how can you go wrong with that? The only thing better would be if they threw Doctor Who in there, I guess. Next up, Marvel Super Special number 41, Howard the Duck. The official comic book adaptation of the spectacular new movie in Lucasfilm and Universal Pictures. So yeah, if you ever wanted to have the movie adaptation, it's from 1986. And this is the comic adaptation of the movie. Nice back cover. Then we have, in not such great condition, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. This is Marvel Super Special number 30. Yeah, it has a little bit of a cover, spine split. I guess I should fix that. And this, of course, is a movie adaptation. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should fix that. Won't be that difficult. What do you think? Should I fix it? Let me know in the comments down below. Here's a Marvel Magazine Group, The Hulk, number 26. And this is from 1981. Yeah, April 1981. It's all black and white. It's good stuff. Nice smell to it. It doesn't smell like it's acidic. It just has that old newsprint smell that some of us in the comic collecting community love, and one of the reasons why we don't get our books slabbed. And here's the Hulk number 23. And I have more of these somewhere, but this one is actually in color. I kind of liked it better in black and white. You know, if I wanted color, I'd buy a comic book. Oh, wait. Marvel graphic novel number 17, Revenge of the Living Monolith. And, you know, Mark Silvestri. How do you go wrong with Mark Silvestri's art? And this was published in 1985. Then we have Meteor. This is Marvel Comics Super Special number 14 from October 1979. And the Super Specials were all just movie adaptations. I've never seen this movie. I've often thought maybe I should watch it, but I've never seen it. And now, for Marvel Graphics novel number 4, New Mutants. First appearance of the New Mutants. I don't even know what this is worth. This is from 1982. But yeah, I'm 99.9% sure this is their first appearance. It's not in the best shape in the world, but hey, I like it. And last of all, we have from 1982 The Death of Captain Marvel. I've never read this. I refuse to read it. I refuse to accept that Mar-Vell is dead. Yes, I know, it's been almost 40 years, but no, he is my Captain Marvel. My Marvel Captain Marvel, and always will be. Nice Jim Starlin art on it. And that's that. But I have more segments for you. So now I went over the age of comics with you. Now I want to go over something else. And this has to do with grading. I recently got a newer edition of the Overstreet Grading Guide, and I've been reading it. And the first thing that disappointed the hell out of me was the fact that creator autographs and owner autographs should not be considered a defect on 9.9 and below. And I have always been of the opinion that you cannot have a mint comic if it has writing on it. But they're saying flat out that yes, a 9.9 mint can have an autograph and still be a 9.9, that it's not counted against the comic. I think it's a load of crap, but that's the way it is. So I went and I put this together based on information from them, from out of there, and we'll have to zoom in a little bit so you can actually see it. And again, if you want to screenshot this and hang on to it, you are more than welcome to. And this is basically a breakdown of the maximum number of defects that you can have in a grade. Starting with Gem Mint 10, you can have no defects. None. No publisher defects, no aftermarket defects, no defects, period. None. Absolutely none. It has to be absolutely perfect. And in Wednesday's video, I believe it's Wednesday I do grading with Chaos, or I'm supposed to do grading with Chaos, I'm going to go over some comics with you and show you some little defects that sometimes are ignored by some of the grading companies. We have number 9.9 mint. You can have a maximum of 1 defect. Okay, 1 defect. So if it's autographed but has other defects, does that mean it's a 9.9? No. No, if you have a defect in an autograph, to me, that's 2 defects. I'm sorry, that's just the way I am. I put it down to a 9.8. 9.8 can have 1 to 2 defects. That's near mint to mint. Near mint plus can have 2 to 3 defects. Notice 2 to 3 defects. Near mint can have 2 to 3 defects. Now, I have seen comics that were graded near mint that had 4 or 5 defects on them. You know, 4 or 5 little stress creases that didn't really break cover, so they were barely noticeable. But the fact that it had 4 or 5 means it's, you know, a near mint minus or a very fine to near mint. Maximum number of defects for near mint is 3. So near mint plus and near mint are the same for the number of defects. What the difference is the severity of the defect. So if you have 3 stress creases and none break color, got to use both Mr. Lips and Mr. Tongue. You'd get a near mint plus, but if one of them breaks a little bit of color, then it would be a near mint. Does that make sense? It's severity is what it is. 9.2, near mint minus, you can have up to 4. Very fine to near mint, you can have up to 6. And I don't know why they bother putting a minimum number on there, because that's silly to me. The minimum number of defects should always be 4, or should be 0 for any grade, depending on severity. For a very fine plus, you can have up to 7. Very fine, you can have up to 7. So if you have less than 4, or more than 4, but less than 7 defects, it could be very fine plus. If you have more than 5 defects, it cannot be very fine plus. So I guess the minimum defects make sense. 7.5, very fine to minus, 5 to 8 defects. Fine to very fine, 6 to 10 defects. Fine plus is 6 to 11 defects. Fine is 7 to 12 defects. Fine minus 7 to 13. Very good to fine is 8 to 13 defects. And we're getting into more serious defects too, but we'll go over those. 9 to 14 is very good plus. 10 to 15 is very good. 10 to 16, very good minus. 11 to 17, good to very good. 12 to 18 is good plus. 13 to 19 is good. 13 to 21 is good minus. 14 to 23 is fair to good. 15 to 24 is fair. 16 to 25 is poor. And incomplete, you can have as many defects on it as you want. If it's incomplete, it's incomplete. Now let's go to the next page that I made up. Actually, I have this on it's double-sided, but on the second one I made. And these talk about some of the terms that are used in the Overstreet grading guide. Slight to subtle. That would be like 1 defect, 1/32 to 1/16 of an inch. And I also put the millimeters on here, and we are going to zoom in a little more on this one. So my friends over there in millimeter land can see it. So slight to subtle is you can have 1, and it's 1/32 to 1/16 inch for the defect, and they're basically talking about stress creases and stuff like that. A small, limited accumulation and very minor, you're talking about 1/16 to 1/8. Small would be 1 to 2, limited accumulation 2 to 4, very minor 2 to 5, and few would be 3 to 5, but it's still in the 1/16 to 1/8 inch range, which I rounded to 1.5 to 3 millimeters. Then you have minor, minimal. some accumulation, that can be 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch, which is 3 millimeters to 6 millimeters. Again, I rounded down on that. And minor to minimal, you can have the same as few, 3 to 5, and some accumulation would be 4 to 6. So if they say some accumulation of stress creases or you know, whatever you want to call them, but they're stress creases regardless of whether they break color or not. Ticks, they call them spine ticks. If you have 4 to 6 spine ticks, that would be some accumulation, and definitely would not go up into the higher range of so then we have moderate and small accumulation, which is 1/4 inch to 1 inch, which is 6 millimeters to 25 millimeters. And that's 4 to 8. And considerable significant would be 1 inch and up. Mini or accumulation would be 1 inch and up. And you're talking 8 to 10 or 8 to 16 on that. And extreme or extensive would be 2 inches to 3 inches, which is 50 millimeter to 75 millimeter and up. So a comic with a crease, with a 3-inch crease across the side, would be considered extreme. Even though it's just one crease, it would be considered extreme. And that definitely would not bode well for a mint comic. So there you go. Those are the charts I made. Hope you find them useful. Like I said, if you need to go back and make screenshots of them, go ahead and do it. Or I'll try to figure out a way to put them in my, you know, to put them up in on my, yeah. I'll try to find a way to get them to so that people can download them and print them out on their own. Now for the fun part. Covers. These are covers that I ran across while I was putting stuff in Mylar that I decided I liked and that I would put in this segment of the video, which is favorite cover of the week. First off, Weird War Tales number 81. This is a Joe Kubert cover. It's different. Oh, and talk about long spine creases. There you go. Or the long creases. There you go. This is an extreme crease. You can't really see it. You can see it starts here and it goes down to here. Let me zoom out so you can see the whole comic. There we go. So that's the first cover. Next cover that I really liked, Secrets of Sinister House number 10. It tells a story by itself, except, you know, I like that. It just tells a whole story by itself. Unfortunately, somebody wrote 1973 there. This kind of tells a story on its own. Of course, what would a favorite cover be without something by Jack Kirby? Sandman number 5, Master of Nightmares. Again, it tells a story on its own. Now, I've got like 5 different covers of this next comic. This is Robin Hood Justice. It came out last year. But this one is just, yeah, this one is cool. I like this. I don't know why. I just really like it. It's not really classified as good girl art, although the other 4 covers are. And I was going to pick one of those, and then I saw this one. I went, yeah, I like this one best. So, this is one of them. Next, from Charlton Comics, no less, Haunted, Earn Your Fortune. A real spooky chiller. This is Haunted number 6. Yeah, I like that cover. I'm going to be like Bud and not apologize for the glare. And last we have Astonishing Tales number 12 with Khazar, Lord of the Hidden Jungle, fighting a gator or a crocodile or whatever the hell that is. Terror stalks the Everglades. It must be an alligator. And he's got Zabu back here munching on another gator. So there you go. Those are my favorites of the week. So I guess we need to whittle them down. Let's see. This one, I'm not taking that one out. Yeah, we're not taking that one out either. Much as I like Jack Kirby, I think we're going to take this one out. And I think we're going to take this one out too. But that leaves us with 4 covers. We'll go over them again. Astonishing Tales number 12, which I have a feeling is going to get picked by many of you. Haunted number 6. That just reminds me of something from the 40s or 50s. That's probably why I like it. Secrets of Sinister House, and they're pretty much all horror except for Robin Hood Justice. And that's the 4. Which one is your favorite? I'll tell you which one is mine on Wednesday's video. And with that, I think I'm done. I don't have anything else to talk about right now. So, don't forget, before you handle your comics, before you handle your collectibles, before you attempt to grade your comics, wash your hands. It's good for your comics, good for your collectibles. It's good for your health. You don't want to miss Wednesday's episode because I'm actually going to grade some comics live. Well, not live. I won't be live, but I will do them right here in front of you. Go over every aspect of it, and you will see how I actually grade a comic. And we'll see you then. Bye. Delco, did you want to say hi? No. Why not? Okay, well, if you don't want to say hi, then I'm not going to make you.